It's Farbrengen about the theme of the month of El. And this Farbrengen explains the famous words that we've all heard many times, but maybe never even thought what they really mean. The words, I am to my beloved. What do those words mean? And Rebbe explains three layers of meaning to those words. I am to my beloved can mean I must listen to my beloved. I belong to my beloved. I accept my beloved as my, I am devoted to my beloved. That's meaning number one. Meaning number two is not just I'm devoted to my beloved, but it's my beloved. So I am attached and I'm excited to be connected to my beloved. It's not just I belong to them and I must serve them, but they're my beloved. There's an attachment of love and yearning. That's the second meaning. And the third meaning is I am to my beloved means I am my beloved. I am one with my beloved. And this fascinating Farbrengen, Rebbe explains that these three meanings of that verse correspond to the five acronyms of the month of El. There is the three more famous acronyms of the month of El. El is an acronym for Inul Yad Santi Lach, the theme of the study of Torah. El corresponds to Nil Dei Dei Li, which is the day of prayer. El corresponds to Isha Eyam Tosav Yenim, the day of kindness. So those are all things that we do, that we do in subservience to our beloved, to subservience to Hashem. That expresses how we belong to Hashem.
Sorry, how was the last one about Hashem?
It's all about things we do in service of Hashem, the three pillars of the service of Hashem. There are three areas of service of Hashem. So Torah, prayer, and kindness. So Torah, prayer, and kindness are all ways we serve Hashem. So those are all included in the first meaning of I am to my beloved, I belong to my beloved. Then there's another meaning of I am to my beloved, and that is that Es Lavav, which is the acronym of the word Tshuva, which means that I return to my beloved. I'm interested in my beloved. I yearn for my beloved. I want my beloved. I'm excited about my beloved. That's how El corresponds to Tshuva. And then there is I am my beloved, and that's the idea of redemption. Redemption means the person is totally freed from his separation from Hashem, and he becomes one with his beloved. That's how the three acronyms of El correspond to the three translations of Anila Dodiv Dodili, I am to my beloved. Let's look at this Farbrengen, and hopefully I just look at it. Hopefully let's absorb it inside. I'm going to go through the first section outside. The month of El, beginning from the first day of Rosh, which started this past Shabbos, is a month of accounting, a month of tshuva. In this month, we're supposed to make a reckoning and accounting of what we did throughout the year in order to correct and perfect what was missing through tshuva. As it says in the Torah, regarding a woman who of captivity, the Torah says she cries for her parents for 30 days. So this doesn't only refer to crying in captivity, it also refers to the month of El. The month of El, which is a month of tshuva, is associated with tears. But not just with the tears of sadness, as Ed explains, this is another place that this also refers to tears of joy, of being reunited with Hashem. Another point, and another major point, is that through correcting the past year, we're able to prepare for the coming year, that this coming year should be in a higher way, until this coming year should be perfect. So since El was about reckoning the past year and preparing for the coming year, it was understood that El has in it all ways of serving God. El stands for Torah, Tefillah, and Tzedakah. El also stands for Tshuva, which Tshuva corrects the past. And El also stands for Geula, because Geula is the purpose of all the things that we do in their service of Hashem. That's the purpose of everything. So all of the five acronyms of El, Torah, prayer, kindness, Tshuva, and Geula, have a relationship to our service of Hashem itself. It means that Tshuva and Geula are not just the way to fix and perfect our service of Hashem, and not just the goal of the service of Hashem, but rather Tshuva and Geula are part of the service itself. It's not just something which is on the outside of the service of Hashem, and it it's about the goal of the service of Hashem, or it's something that enhances it. Rather, tshuva and geula are part of the service of Hashem. Because in addition to actually serving Hashem with Torah, prayer, and kindness, besides those three things that we're doing, we need to do things in a way of tshuva. We do things in a way of geula. Here, it's not that there's something else called tshuva, which is to correct. Oh, I didn't daven ma'ariv, so I have to do tshuva and be more careful daven ma'ariv. That's how tshuva corrects something you've done in the past, right? You're regretting missing ma'ariv, and you make a decision from now on daven ma'ariv. Rather, tshuva is part of the service of Hashem. The way you do everything has to be tshuva. The way you do everything has to be geula, as we'll see.
So how when you daven shachris is tshuva?
The Farbrengen will discuss it, but one point is that it's not supposed to be done in a way just that you're trying to get a load off your back. I did it. I davened already. The goal is you should daven in a way that you want to connect to Hashem, that you want to return to Hashem.
The tshuva is the connect.
It's the way you serve Hashem.
Connection, right.
The way you serve Hashem.
It's not about necessarily about the past.
Right.
It's about
what you're doing right now.
Right now.
Because you want to kiss Hashem. Understand, so we're first prefacing the whole meaning of Rosh Hashanah, which is the beginning of the service of Hashem of the coming year after the preparation of the month of El. What's the theme of Rosh Hashanah? What's the theme of Rosh Hashanah? We're on the second page, page 169. The Jewish people crown Hashem as their king. God says to us in Rosh Hashanah, I want you to recite before me verses about my sovereignty in order that I should become your king. The theme of Rosh Hashanah is crowning Hashem as our king. That by crowning Hashem as our king, Hashem becomes the king of the Jewish people. And in addition to becoming our king, he becomes the king of the whole world. What's the relationship between crowning Hashem as the Jewish king and Hashem being the king of the whole world? As Rabbi Chaim Peretz says, whenever you walk in the street, you have to walk in the King's Road, because we are walking the main street. Sheep are the ones who draw and reveal into the world God's sovereignty. They reveal God's sovereignty in the world, and they make the world a home for Hashem. And therefore, if Hashem is the king of the Jewish people, Hashem becomes to the Jewish people who reveal godliness in the world, he becomes the king of the whole world.
You present that you are the prince, the king's prince.
Right.
Exactly.
Kind of played that way.
The coronation of the king is achieved by the people being devoted and accepting the king, accepting the yoke of sovereignty of the king. This is done by all the people, and starting with the leaders of the people, the soldiers. As we see clearly in the human kings, we see that the people, the soldiers, they're the ones who accept upon themselves the yoke and the rulership of the king to do whatever he'll tell them. The foundation of any army deserving of the title army, what's the foundation of an army is obedience. To fulfill the will of their king, even if they don't understand. That's the foundation of any of that holds together an army. That's what an army is about. Though they accept upon themselves the yoke of the king, they're there to serve the king, to fulfill the desires of the king, and whether they understand it or not. So that is the way things work in this world. Why is it that it works in this world? The reason why this world is because of the way things are in the higher world, the way things are in heaven. How did we become Hashem's troops, Hashem's soldiers? When did we become Hashem's people at the giving of the Torah? And what did we do to become Hashem's people? We accepted upon ourselves the yoke of Hashem. We said we will do even before we understand. So at the moment of our acceptance of the Torah, of becoming the Jewish people, we soldiers. we will do before we understand that before we understand anything, we first accept upon ourselves Hashem as our king to do whatever He'll tell us, and then later we can and we need, actually, Hashem commands us to understand what we're doing. So that's what's true as the Jewish people. The Jewish people begin with accepting upon themselves Hashem as our king. So to Elul. Elul is the beginning of the service of Hashem. Elul is the beginning of preparation for the new year, when we crown Hashem again as our king. In order that our service of Hashem should be the way it's meant to be, we have to first preface the service of Hashem with accepting upon ourselves Hashem's sovereignty. That's where it all starts. That's the meaning of the words, I am to my beloved. The first of the acronyms of the month of El. That's the first. What's the meaning of I am to my beloved in the sense of acceptance of the yoke of Hashem? Shahani, I, the existence of every single Jew individually, devotes himself, gives himself over to his beloved, to Hashem. I, my whole being, am devoted and I give myself over to Hashem, to my beloved. This direction, this movement of acceptance upon yourself of Hashem's kingdom, of Hashem's sovereignty, I and my beloved, that's the foundation, that is the root of everything you're going to do to serve Hashem, whether it's Torah, whether it's prayer, whether it's kindness, whatever you're going to do to serve Hashem, it's all based on this devotion to Hashem. I belong to my beloved. I am devoted, and I give myself over to my beloved. So the reason why there has to be this right now is because we're going to accept upon ourselves again Hashem as our King, Rosh Hashanah. Preparation for this is by the month of Elul, saying, and not just saying, but devoting ourselves to Hashem, I am to my beloved. That's the first layer of Ani Ladodi. Ani Ladodi means I serve my beloved. I belong to my beloved. I accept my beloved's sovereignty. That's the first thing. Let's go deeper. However, despite the fact that crowning Hashem Rosh Hashanah is something which involves acceptance, the yoke of Hashem. However, it's not in a way of being forced, not coercion. As we say in our prayers, His sovereignty they accepted with their own volition, with their own desire. They wanted His sovereignty. That means the coronation of the king is with vitality and pleasure. Next page, it's permeated. This acceptance is permeated with love for the king. And therefore, the coronation is with great joy. So, if you were to dissect the acceptance of the Hashem as our king, what would you find in it? It would be drenched with love for the king, and therefore, this acceptance, coronation, is with great joy. So this teaches us about the month of Elul as well. Rosh Hashanah is a time we accept upon ourselves Hashem as our king, but we begin in the month of Elul. And so if Elul is about acceptance of Hashem as our king, it's not only about belonging to my master, it's something else. In addition to acceptance of the yoke of Hashem, there also has to be vitality, there also has to be pleasure. A feeling of love for Hashem, a feeling of joy. In the language of the Torah, I am to my beloved. That means my acceptance of Hashem, my I, that I accept upon myself Hashem's yoke. Why am I doing this? Whose yoke am I accepting? I'm accepting my beloved's yoke. It's a title which denotes the love that exists between Hashem and the Jewish people. As understood from the simple verses of Song of Songs, this verse is expressing our love for God and God's love for us. So it's not that I'm accepting the yoke of some king, I'm accepting the yoke of my beloved. We do a mashkas ben azakin. The being in shechel. I'll be marshal mach shekein beili ir yitzan shel kasem kam kol son upon sad azrain call me straight to lakov. What's this akbarav? Who makal skum se from yafis mar from sech skum. Kachne mach nach marshal shechel yitzan hakbol er from is barsada. Yor by pan lacha and shatuma aved shechel but mudash tus akir aba har span khul asher ibn lachai. As the famous parable of the Alter Rebbe about the theme of the month of Elul. El is about going to greet the king in the field. When the king's out to the field, everyone has permission to greet the king, and he greets everyone with a beautiful face and shows everyone a smiling face. So the idea of Hashem showing us his face, Hashem shines his countenance upon us. It means the month of Elul, there is an emphasis of God's love and closeness in Hashem shining his face to us. It's I think in English it's the same thing, right? It's to shine upon someone, like you're giving them your shine. Hashem gives us his shine. And the language of the Torah, the language of our prayers, we say, in the light of the king's face there is life. So it's not just we're accepting the yoke of Hashem, we're accepting the yoke of the king in the field who is looking at us and smiling at us with the beautiful face. There's a lot of love there. Love is in the air. That's what the meaning of Anila Deidi is. Not just I belong to my beloved, I must serve my beloved, but I'm serving the one I love. It's not just I'm accepting the yoke of the king. I am to my beloved also means that the second layer of meaning about I am to my beloved is not only I accept his sovereignty, but I am accepting the sovereignty of the one I love. This is alluded to. Oops, Mazel Tov. Okay, I can do the next paragraph outside. Thank you, Rosh. The next acronym of the month of Elul is Tshuva. As we said before, Tshuva is not something that's meant to correct the other parts of the service of Hashem. Rather, Tshuva is the whole way we serve Hashem has to be in the way of Tshuva. In explaining the acronym of Elul, meaning I am to my beloved and my beloved is to me, the Bach writes that your heart must be close to your beloved in Teshuvah. And when you're returning to Hashem with love, that's the meaning of the month of Elul, that you're be close to your beloved. And then says the Bach, your beloved will be close to you and accept your tshuva. He'll accept your returning to him with love. That means the tshuva, even if it's tshuva for something very simple, we're not talking about sophisticated chassidic ways of doing tshuva. We're not talking about tshuva, halachic, I need to fix this. Even if doing a simple thing of tshuva, correcting A, B, and C, which leave much to be desired, it's still permeated with a sense of love and closeness to Hashem. Here at the Chaim Peretz, we're talking about lousy, and even when I'm talking about lousy, the Rebbe says the lousy has to be love also. It's not just when I'm doing something, wow, magnanimous and amazing, I've never done before. It's a month of Elul. It's amore. Let me do something special now. Huh? I'm doing something that I knew I should have fixed a long time ago and I'm embarrassed about. The Rebbe says it has to be permeated with a feeling of love and closeness to Hashem. Especially, according to what is known, that the service of Hashem of Tshuva of the month of Elul is not only on negative things, God forbid. The theme of the month of Tshuva of the month of Elul is expressed in the verse: the spirit returns to Hashem who gave the spirit. That means the soul returns to Hashem, unites with Hashem. The soul returns to Hashem. It doesn't mean you die. It means you're united in the soul and the body with your divine source. You're one with your divine source in your body. As didn't we say before that El means to cry for a month? Rebbe says the opposite. These tears are tears of joy. As the Talmud says about Rabbi Akiva, that when Rabbi Akiva heard for the first time, when Rabbi Akiva said Song of Songs, he always cried. Why did Rabbi Akiva cry when he said Song of Songs? This is because of the attachment of his soul in his divine source, more than he could handle. Tears are of joy because of his great love and closeness and yearning for Hashem, which is the theme of Song of Songs. Rabbi Akiva was crying because it was just overwhelming, his closeness. It wasn't about he's crying about the past. It was tears of joy being close to Hashem. You know what they were saying? They were saying, even if you're trying to fix something negative, you should also learn from Rabbi Akiva. It shouldn't be about, I have to take out the garbage. It should be that you're crying with joy about being close to Hashem. So this is especially emphasized this year, when the first day of Elul, first day of Rosh Chodesh Elul falls out on Shabbos, it's known that the tshuva of Shabbos is the higher level of tshuva. Tshuva Ilah. There's two levels of tshuva. There's tshuva about regretting the past, about thinking deeply about the mistakes of the past. Then there's a high level of tshuva, which is about uniting with Hashem. So the tshuva of Shabbos is the higher level of tshuva. Shabbos has the same passover, which means to return. Shabbos is about the great joy of cleaving spirit to Hashem with pleasure. As we say about Shabbos, Shabbos is called day of pleasure. What's the pleasure of Shabbos? It's not only the kishka and the kuku. The pleasure of the Shabbos is cleaving of your spirit to Hashem. So it comes out that the tshuva that Elul is about is not just fixing and complementing whatever was done this year. Rather, it's part and parcel of what you're doing. It's not about correcting something else. It's about whatever you're doing has to be done in the way of tshuva. In addition to perfecting everything and serving Hashem with acceptance of the yoke of Hashem, etc., and you're doing everything you're supposed to do, besides that, the service of Hashem has to be done with a feeling of excitement and a feeling of love and closeness with Hashem. That's the meaning of doing things with tshuva. It means doing things with tshuva means, Elul being about tshuva means whatever you do in the month of Elul has to be done with a sense of love and closeness with Hashem. And this also adds to your bottom line. This adds to your bottom line of what you're doing. When you do things with love, it transforms the experience of what you're doing. That's why the Talmud describes the purpose of the soul coming to the world. The Talmud says the soul comes to the world for tshuva and good deeds. If tshuva means to correct the past, it should have said for doing good deeds, and if you mess up, do tshuva. But it says tshuva first. Why? Because it's not just talking about doing tshuva to correct the past. Rather, it's about everything that you do has to be done by first prefacing with tshuva. Start with tshuva. What's tshuva mean? I want to be closer to Hashem with love. Tshuva means to return to Hashem with love. So whatever you do, how can it be good? What makes the things you're doing good? What makes the things you're doing luminous? What makes the things you're doing good and luminous is that they're done with this preparation of I am returning to Hashem, I'm coming close to Hashem. I want to be close to Hashem, and therefore I'm doing this. That's what transforms the things I'm doing, that makes them to be full of light. So it's not just that tshuva is the way we should serve Hashem, and it's something that is a preparation, is the first step of anything you do to serve Hashem, but it's also part of the service of Hashem in the sense that it enhances it, it makes what you're doing full of light. And that's what we're going to stop with today. Hopefully not stop, but hopefully continue all day with this. L'chaim, great day. Yitzrot.
So why using the word tshuva?
Rabbi Riber is granting us another minute of chassidus. What?
I've been listening to the word you said.
Oh, sorry.
I'm going in and out.
All right. Why are we using the word tshuva? Tshuva means to return. To return to Hashem. Come home to Hashem. I want to be close
from the point of birth.
Yeah.
Returning to where my original point is.
Yeah. The spirit returns to the Hashem that gave the soul.
So it's not because you did something wrong to return, but return to the place of your birth, of your mission, of your assignment.
Actually, your mission. Also says in Tanya, the breath of Hashem that blew into you, a soul and a body. When you do tshuva, you're becoming one with Hashem. You're uniting with your divine source. You are becoming one with Hashem.
That's what tshuva is.
When I daven on Torah, I am becoming one with Elecha Hashem Ekav Hashem Eschanan. I don't know where this comes from. One Hasidic Jew told me this means, to you, the simple translation of the pasuk is, to you Hashem I call, to you Hashem I beseech. But he said, Elecha Hashem, when I call you, when I daven to you, I am becoming one with you, Hashem. Elecha Hashem, it's about coming closer to you. When I daven to you, when I learn Torah, it's about Elecha Hashem.
Thank you.
Yeah,